Hey students, if you want to program like the professionals, you'll need to use an integrated development environment, also called an IDE. IDEs are development tools that allow you to troubleshoot and automatically complete code while you're typing. They indent code automatically, import libraries, change variable and file names easily. They control the versioning of code, build and compile code easily, run and test code, and so much more. After watching this video in its entirety, you will be able to install an IDE called NetBeans, create a Java with Ant project, and run your code in NetBeans. I'm sure you're excited to start programming with an IDE, so let's get started. In order to successfully install the NetBeans Integrated Development Environment, we must first install the Java Development Kit and configure the environment variables on our operating system. If you haven't done this yet, please stop the video now and find the link for my video on installing the JDK in the description below. NetBeans will not work correctly if the JDK has not been properly installed. Assuming you've completed the installation and configuration of the JDK, we're ready to begin the process of installing the NetBeans IDE. We'll start by opening a browser window. In the Google search box, I'll type NetBeans, all one word, then press enter. I'll click download, and I'm redirected to the Apache NetBeans page. You'll notice under Recent Release, Apache NetBeans 14 is the latest version. I'll click the download button. Next, under Installers, I'll choose Apache NetBeans 14 bin Windows x64 exe. And based on my location, the following site is suggested for my download. I'll click this link to begin the download process. When the download is complete, I'll click the download button and begin the installation process. Again, as a reminder, make sure that you've installed and configured the JDK before installing NetBeans. NetBeans will not work correctly if the JDK is not correctly installed and configured. When the User Account Control window opens, asking, "Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device?" click Yes. Next, you'll notice the Apache NetBeans IDE installer window opens. This window welcomes you to the installer and lists the packs and runtimes that will be installed. We can click the Customize button if we want to customize the installation, but for our purposes, we're just going to simply click Next. The next screen of the Apache NetBeans IDE installer is the licensing agreement. Quickly read through the licensing agreement, then click I accept the terms. Click Next to move to the next step. We can choose the install directory and the location of our JDK. You'll notice for this installation, NetBeans version 14 will be installed in the C drive Program Files directory. The location of the JDK has been found in C Program Files Open JDK, JDK 18.0.1.1. If you watched my video on installing and configuring the JDK, you'll remember that this is the directory that we chose to install the JDK into. I'll click Next, and the installer summary page appears. This page shows me where the installation is going to occur and also gives me an option for checking for updates. It's probably a good idea at this point to check to see if there are any updates, so we'll leave this box checked and click the Install button. And the installation process begins. Here the installation process is complete, but we're checking for updates. This will take just a little bit longer. When all of the files and updates have been installed, you will see a Setup Complete message and the installation will have completed successfully. At this point, you can click the Finish button to close the NetBeans IDE installer window. I'll also close my browser window. At this point, we have NetBeans installed on our machine. Next, let's test the program. We will create a simple project, type a basic program, and run the code to make sure that everything works correctly. After completing the install, you'll notice on my desktop, I now have an Apache NetBeans shortcut. I can double-click the shortcut to open the NetBeans program. When the IDE opens, you'll notice the Start page. If you don't want the Start page to display each time you open NetBeans, you can deselect the Show on Startup checkbox. I'm going to leave mine selected. The next thing that I want to do is I want to test this application to make sure that everything's working properly. To do this, I'm going to create a new project to test things. I'll go to File, New Project, and in the categories, I'm going to select Java with Ant. To the right, in the Projects pane, I'm going to select Java Application and click Next. The new Java Application dialog box opens with the project name Java Application 1. I'm going to change the project name to NetBeans Test. You'll notice that I've created my project with no spaces. In the project location, I'm going to leave the C users mquin documents NetBeans projects folder as the project location. If I wanted to change the project location, I could click the Browse button and search for a different folder to place my project in. Beneath project location, you'll notice project folder. This is simply the project location with the name of the project that we've created at the end. If we wanted, we could use dedicated folders for storing our libraries. I'm not going to do that in this project. Lastly, down at the bottom, we can create a main class simply by checking the box. You'll notice in the text box we have the name of the package, a dot, and then the name of our class. In this case, our class is going to be called NetBeans Test. The class name is the same name as the project name. When I click Finish, the project will open. You'll notice when the project is created, to the left in the Projects window, we can see our project name. Under Source Packages, we see the package name that we created, NetBeans Test, and then we see our class name, netbeanstest.java. To the right, on line 5, you can see our packages declared. On line 7 through 10, we have a Java docs comment. Then on line 11, our class is declared. The class begins on line 11, and you can see that it ends on line 20. We have another comment. This again is a Java docs comment on line 13 that runs through line 15. And lastly, we have our main method. The main method appears on line 16 and runs to line 18. On the Windows operating system, I can go to the Tools tab in NetBeans and choose Options. Inside of Options, I'll choose Fonts and Colors. And here under the default category, I can change the font. I'll select a larger font size, going with maybe 16. Realize you don't have to use the font sizes that are listed. You can type your own. I'll click OK, and you'll notice in the preview area, the text gets bigger. I'll click OK again, and you'll notice the text in my code window gets bigger. The last thing that I want to do is I'm going to test my program. I'm going to remove the comment that's listed here and create my own comment. I'll type test for NetBeans 14. On line 19, I'm going to code a simple system out print line message. I'll type system with a capital S dot out dot print ln. You'll notice that the IDE provides help as you're typing this information. We can see the definition of what the print line method does in the window above, and in the pane below, we're given assistance on how to correctly construct this method. I'll type a left parentheses, and you'll notice that the IDE automatically closes the parentheses and provides a semicolon. Lastly, I just want to display some text, so I'll type a quote, and notice as I type the opening quote, a closing quote appears automatically, and then I'll type the words testing, ... 1, ... 2, ... 3. This text will be sufficient for testing to make sure that our IDE is correctly working. I can come to the two disks, which is my Save All button, and I could save the project. Then I can go to the arrow, which is my Run button, and I can execute the program. You can see the code runs correctly because at the bottom we see the words testing, ... 1, ... 2, ... 3, and the words build successful to indicate that our build was successful and the program ran. Since we were able to run our test program, we know that we've installed and configured the NetBeans IDE correctly. In this video, we installed NetBeans, created an Ant Java project, and ran our code in the IDE. Now that you understand how to create and run code in NetBeans, you're on your way to easier coding and troubleshooting. Please realize that there is so much more to learn about working with NetBeans. Poke around in the menus a little bit and keep looking for opportunities to learn as much as you can. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.